live?
Yeah, we're live.
What's up? It's Friday. We're late. We're not late, actually, because we bumped our time back so that more people could watch. Welcome to Valley Vision. I'm Abby Alonso, Joe Mitchell behind the sticks. We recapped women's basketball last night after they beat Texas A&M, third SEC win of the season, beat a team that kept their opponents to under 50 points. However, LSU dropped 87 last night, thanks to, honestly, the whole starting lineup. Just a killer team, straight up. Colorado game is out the window. They have since moved forward. They look great. You've actually got 3 of those girls on the Wooden Award Midseason Top 25 Watchlist: Angel Reese, Aneesah Morrow, and Mikaylah Williams. Who else would you expect to see? No one else. LSU's top 3 scorers. Angel's averaging 19.8 points per game. Aneesah, 18.5. Mikaylah, 16.9. To have 3 teammates on the same watch list is really freaking cool. LSU is the only school to do that. And again, you saw them show off last night. We recapped that. If you're looking for a better recap, head to our channel. We've got a live show from last night. It's a little bit more in depth about that win. And they will be back in action on Sunday at Auburn. Men's basketball looking for their 5th straight win. They will play this weekend. Another tough matchup for them. Number 16, Auburn at 5. They're currently 2-0 in SEC play, which is a pretty nice little record to have after all the non-conference games. Lots of questions on, can Matt McMahon figure this out? Can they clean up the play? Jalen Cook's back. Things are starting to fall in line. But again, another test. You're facing Auburn. This team's still got a lot of work to do, but they've proved themselves. So I can't say anything against them. But we'll definitely get a better glimpse at where they're at. It's early in the season, early in SEC play, but Auburn will absolutely be a test. It's not football season, but of course it just never ends, does it? Because the GOAT retired this week and all hell broke loose. I don't think anyone's upset about it except for Alabama fans. In fact, I think most LSU fans are quite ecstatic that Nick Saban is no longer coaching Alabama football. The end of an era. Our college football guy, Joe, what was your initial reaction to that?
Bittersweet, because I do.
Fair.
Sweet because he's not coaching Alabama anymore, but I think we also, now that he's no longer coaching Alabama and it's okay to show respect where it's due, it's really cool to look back and see how he changed LSU's program. Like, before he got here, LSU was not what it is now. And then after he left, it changed the standard. Like, coaches get run off for not winning 9 and 10 games a year. So, like, LSU's standard is completely different because that man was here, and I got nothing but respect for him.
And I saw something on social media earlier today, like, he respects LSU, and he took a lot from LSU the same way that he gave to LSU and changed the program and changed the entire standard for college football. Like, I mean, this man has changed that landscape. And for Kalen DeBoer, the next Alabama football coach, Godspeed. Could you imagine? I know this is an LSU football show, but again, Nick Saban has changed the game. We're an LSU sports show. We talk about football. Can you imagine trying to fill those shoes?
No.
You couldn't pay me enough money to go coach Alabama football after the season after Nick Saban leaves. You couldn't pay me enough.
I will say that dude's real. That was the right hire. Like, that was a slam dunk hire for them.
I was going to ask what you thought about the hire.
Yeah, so Kalen DeBoer is 104-12 as a head coach. That's a ridiculous record.
It is a ridiculous record. Unfortunately for him, his career at Alabama is going to be compared to Nick Saban. It doesn't matter how well he does, how many championships he wins. Take that with a grain of salt. He absolutely could get the credit where it's due, but he will be compared to Nick Saban. And it's, well, if Saban was here, could you imagine what they would have done? Come on, man.
I have one more note on Nick Saban. It occurred to me after he resigned yesterday. Did he retire yesterday or the day before? I can't remember.
My
the day
days
before,
mixed
2
up.
days ago.
It was 2 days ago.
So I didn't think of it that day when he retired, but yesterday I was kind of thinking about it. We put some graphics out and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, one day I'm gonna have a kid one day that asks me who Nick Saban is, and that is a crazy thought.
We got to witness that.
Like, that dude was the GOAT.
I saw somebody said that they should put rope off Saban's office and charge people to go in it. You know how museums have exhibits or famous people's houses, Graceland, Elvis. They said literally just rope off the office, don't touch anything, not even the smallest paper clip, let people pay to go see. They'd make a killing, truly. That's how much of an influence he's had on college football. Again, LSU sports show, it feels like a sin to be talking about Alabama football and Nick Saban right now, but given that he did coach here, so this does, and the rivalry between LSU and Alabama, it felt right to talk about it. Speaking of the rivalry, do you think that lives on? Yeah,
I think he's going to get a very, a not very warm welcome to Baton Rouge next year when Kalen DeBoer makes that first trip. That's going to be a fun one. He's going to have to go through the ringer next year. His first SEC home game is at Bryant-Denny versus Georgia, and then he's got to come to Death Valley later in the year. Can't wait for that. It's going to be really fun.
Holy hell. Props to him. Yeah. Major respect for taking on the coaching job, given the circumstances. And I'm sure he will do well.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That's tough. That's really freaking tough. Also, Nick Saban's last game in Tiger Stadium was a loss. Just saying. Just saying. So this does affect recruiting. It affects the transfer portal. You've already seen one of their wide receivers, Isaiah Bond. He entered the portal. You're waiting to see which recruits flip. I don't know. If I'm a recruit coming in and I was recruited by Saban and Nick Saban is no longer the coach, my options are open. Hit my DMs. Seriously, don't hit my DMs.
I was about to say, that's getting clipped.
No. We're not clipping that. Unless you're respectful and so nice and just want to talk sports, we can absolutely chat. Other than that, stay in your lane. Anyway, no, but if I'm a recruit and I am going to Bama to play for Nick Saban and he's not there, well, I'm talking to everybody. Do you think that we see, or it's inevitable, you are going to see people change their decision because of that? Do you think any of those guys might look towards Baton Rouge as another option or a second option? Is there anybody that comes to mind that you're like, hey, maybe we can get them now?
Yeah, give me anybody on the defensive line or front seven.
Anybody on the D-line. Anybody. Okay, yeah. Why?
Well, you have two scholarship players on the roster right now. You just hired Bo Davis. Just went and got I'm blanking on his name, but just went and got an assistant defensive line coach from Missouri, who specializes in edge rushers.
Oh, Peoples.
Yeah, there you go, Peoples. So
Kevin
you literally just invested 2 coaches into the defensive line to make sure that what happened this year does not happen moving forward. Alabama loses one of the best defensive minds of all time. You can come here and be like, oh, I have 2 guys that are going to make sure that if I'm a defensive tackle, I know for sure that Bo Davis is going to get me right.
Right.
He just had the Outland Award winner and the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year at Texas. If you're an edge rusher, a guy like Harold Perkins, now you're going to be able to get to play under Blake Baker and Peoples.
Yeah.
We got options for defensive for a front 7 right now.
Look, we caught a break. I mean, truly.
We have resources, not options. We need options.
Yeah. The way that Brian Kelly has been recruiting staff, again, and we keep talking about this, but the defense this season was not up to par. That is so explicitly obvious. You knew there needed to be changes. The question was, how are you going to do it? What staff are you going to change? Brian Kelly said, I'm done. Enough of the BS. We're fixing the problem. Got rid of people. Now bringing in, because Kevin Peoples was with Blake Baker, correct, at Mizzou.
Yep.
Kevin Peoples, Bo Davis, Blake Baker, you're just stacking it up.
Waiting on a DB coach. Corey Raymond, fingers crossed.
Well, I know. We're calling for him, tagging him on Instagram like, hey, dude, it's your time. You're the last piece. Come on. I don't know if that happens. But regardless of whether it does or not, Brian Kelly has done his due diligence and put in the work to make sure that we don't have the same problem next season with the defense. And then you catch the break of Nick Saban leaving college football, at least as a head coach. Feels like the stars are aligning a little bit for LSU to bring in some more talent and to do really well next season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously agree, but I do think as LSU fans have a tendency to look at LSU and Alabama, and you know, right now there's another big dog in the SEC too. So like we have to be the best we can possibly be, but Georgia still exists over there in Athens. So
Joe giving us our dose of reality, but can you just let me play for a second?
We'll never lose again, but I'm still telling you that
we're never losing another game. Just kidding. In a good position though. In a good position during the offseason. Excited to see what developments continue. I mean, I feel like it's been every day. Every day there's another, we hired this person, this person's leaving. Like, it's just, this is going to be nonstop throughout the offseason just because so much had to change, which is crazy to say because you had a Heisman quarterback and the nation's top offense, and we're talking about how much needed to change. Again, another characteristic of an LSU fan, exaggerate absolutely everything. Check. Logan Diggs committed to Ole Miss, left LSU, headed to play for Lane Kiffin. They lost Judkins, so, I mean, kind of makes sense. A little bit of a different style there, but we do wish him luck. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. Never going to wish ill upon anyone, and go where you fit, right? If Lane Kiffin thinks that you fit his offense, then hell, we'll see you. Do we play Ole Miss next year?
I don't remember. I don't think they're one of the recurring.
That's trippy. The fact that I'm even having to ask that.
I don't think they're one of the recurring opponents, but if they are, it would be in Death Valley.
Okay, well, maybe Logan Diggs takes a visit back to Baton Rouge. Speaking of Lane Kiffin, back to the college football overview surrounding Nick Saban. His name was thrown in, and I saw people tweeting, yeah, let's see how long Lane Kiffin's telling y'all to come to the SIP. Meaning, is he going to flip over to Bama? I didn't see that happening, but people were talking about that. You know who else they were talking about? Deion Sanders. How crazy would that have been?
Real quick, October 12th, Ole Miss comes to Baton Rouge.
There you go. So Logan Diggs will be back in Tiger Stadium, just in different colors. But how crazy would that have been?
Would have been. Go ahead.
Sanders. Deion Sanders at Bama.
I mean, that was never.
No. Okay.
No.
Can I play? It's Friday. Can we have some fun here?
I'm not
hypothetical,
saying that,
Joe.
Yeah.
Before the season, they were talking about Deion Sanders and if Nick, because remember, they called Nick Saban retiring before the season. It was in question. Just you're getting older, and you're throwing out names before this season even starts to see what sticks. Deion Sanders was thrown in there. How crazy would it be if he left Colorado and went to Bama? And then his name before they hired Kalen DeBoer, of course, his name got thrown. Maybe it was for SEO and clicks,
I think that's what it was.
For sure. But think about that for a second. That would have been quite interesting to have Deion in the SEC.
I think that would have been a disaster for Alabama.
I think they knew that, and that's why they didn't even entertain that. Well, from what we know, they didn't entertain it. I also don't think Deion would have enjoyed that job either, at least right now.
Yeah.
But that's not happening. It is Kalen DeBoer taking over Alabama. Please, Jesus, let him not be as good as Nick Saban.
No. He could be as good as he wants. Let's just be better. That's how I feel.
Here we go, bro. Yes, that. What he said. Speaking of LSU players, football, all that jazz, people leaving to go to the next level, Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith. LSU has 27 former players in the NFL playoffs this weekend. 27. 14 on active rosters, 9 on practice squads, 4 on IR, but they count. They're still on those teams. One of our guys, Brad Wing, is back with the Steelers, signed to the practice squad. He will be partaking in playoffs with the Steelers, and who knows if Mike Tomlin and the boys mess around and find themselves in a Super Bowl and maybe win it, Brad's coming home with a big old rock. A big old rock. That'd be so sick. Now, do I think the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl? No. But it's nice to think about. We're just doing a lot of play today. Just hypothetical questions. Let's see how far I can get under Joe's skin with the stupid questions and ideas I come up with. But really cool on a serious level. 27 former players in the playoffs at the highest level did something right. Just, again, hammering down and really nailing the program that LSU is and the culture and the organization and what products come out of here. And I am excited to see where the guys like Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels end up. That's going to be fun to watch, the draft in, April?
Yeah.
April? Yeah, it's April. I should know that. Oof. We'll round out with gymnastics. They are in their second week of the season, or second weekend of the season, currently in Utah. They are ranked 5th nationally right now, and they are competing in ESPN's first ever invitational. It's 4 teams. It's actually the 4 teams that were in the Final Four last year. So this is going to be really cool to kind of see a replay, they're meeting up again. Let's see who stands out this year, which changed for each team, who's in, who's out kind of thing. It's number 1 Oklahoma, number 2 Utah, and number 12 UCLA competing with LSU. That'll air on ABC. They did really, really well in their meet against Ohio State, came out with their first win of the season, nailed Floor. Floor was chef's kiss. Jay Clark said it was championship level. If they can get all 4 events to that level, they're in a solid place. But to start your first weekend with Floor being just beautiful is a good start, especially when you're heading into a weekend where you're competing with the best. Like the best from last year, probably not far off this year, some of the best teams in the SEC right now. You're also going to get a very good showing of what changes were made to this team, how they've progressed, and where they stand currently. This is probably the best test that they'll have, especially early in the season. So that's exciting to see, or it'll be exciting to watch. I'm pumped for that. Kaya Johnson back. I said their floor routines were really good. So was their vault. I think they got the highest scores in vault and floor this past weekend. In a good position. It's wonderful to be an LSU fan, right?
And honestly, Beam wasn't terrible. I mean,
no.
Now look, I know you had to kind of fall on Beam, but you're still right there knocking on the door of 197, which is really, really impressive. So I think if they get that done, they literally limit that to 1 fall, and they clear 197 in the first meet of the year. So
Sports school. Yeah. It's Friday. I'm pumped. I don't know why. I guess just because it's Friday. Energy's high. But this was fun. It was fun. I like getting under Joe's skin sometimes, just asking the hypothetical questions. But that's all we got for y'all today. We will be back on Monday. Remember, we bumped the shows back to 5:30, just so that everybody has time to get off of work and come hang out. So we'll be back Monday, 5. We'll see y'all then.